From Turnstile to Turnstile, let's talk theme parks.
Welcome to Park Hopper Podcast. Welcome back. My name is Dominic Eithko. We are here with Peter Burkhart. This is episode 3 of the Park Hopper Podcast. Peter, I'm excited for today's episode. It's been a long week. We're back again. Another Sunday, ready to go. And I'm very, very excited.
You're riding your high from last week. That's what you're doing.
It was just a very, magical time.
Let's give a little insight. So Dom, as we've explained before, he's a foodie. I know you're referencing. I'm gonna throw it out there.
I wasn't know what you were going at. I was not thinking this. I was just excited about the podcast. My mind wasn't even where you're about to go.
Oh, left brain, right brain kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm very excited that you are that excited about the podcast. But if you all know Dom at all, he's a foodie, and he had some pretty fun adventures last weekend. Got to go to some Detroit metro area, a media.
It was
meetup or
it was like a meetup with other foodie Instagram accounts,
influencers,
inside the Detroit area. So it was a very fun experience. We got to go out to a restaurant and try some of their food, and looks like a lot of more things like that are to come in the future.
I wish the best of luck to you and little Vic there.
Yeah, so
the pictures look awesome.
They were good. So go follow me and little Vic at Vicky's Detroit on Instagram.
And check out their YouTube, because I think that's what's part of your little hook, line, and sinker that's helping you get some of this stuff going.
Right, and that is Vic on YouTube.
They do great stuff. They do. Let's not forget that Dom was the pushing force to get the Fab 5207 YouTube channel started, which was like the domino effect into the part of me and Sarah moving down, the daily YouTube. Their Dom and Vic Eats Detroit, their Dom and Vic, and now this podcast all started because this guy used to watch a lot of YouTube.
Right, and let's just hope that this doesn't turn into like the Fab 5207 where I say, let's do it, and then I fall off the face of the earth.
Hey, you got, I think, 3 solid videos on the Fab 5207.
Yeah.
And then many cameos in the in vacation vlogs. Yes, but we greatly digressed, and I'm very honored. We actually had our first Turnstile Testimonial submission to our email, parkhopperpodcast@gmail.com. And if you are new to the podcast, what Turnstile Testimonials is, it's going to be your own personal story from a theme park. And it doesn't have to be Orlando, Florida based. It can be anywhere. And this is a perfect example. This is our friend Megan from Swish and Flick podcast, a Harry Potter podcast. You definitely put their link down below. They have an amazing podcast, probably one of the bigger Harry Potter ones. And the Harry Potter fandom is huge. And so for them to be such a new podcast with such a big audience is amazing. They do really quality stuff, and they're another half of the inspiration for this podcast, because after talking to them for a couple weeks there, I was like, this podcast should happen. And then I was talking to Dom, and Dom was like, yeah, it should happen. And here we are. But the first Turnstile Testimonial is from Megan, and she has a little story here from Cedar Point, Ohio. What city is that in?
Sandusky.
There you go. So this is the give and take for me and Dom, because Dom lives not too far.
Well, here's the thing. Outside of Cedar Point, what is really in Ohio? I might, you know what? Listen, I'm allowed to say it. I'm from Michigan. Michigan people and Ohio people don't like each other. That's just how it works. You got the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry. And
I thought you were Canadian.
I'm not Canadian. I live close to Canada.
You're on the other side of the Detroit River, though.
Half-hour away from Canada.
Your mom told me to get my passport before I came to visit you.
That's not true. That's not true whatsoever.
All right, so Ohioans and Michiganians don't like each other.
Michiganders.
Okay. Well, here's Megan's little tale here. She said here that last spring for her roommate's birthday, they came across tickets for a coaster campout. And what this is when you got tickets for Saturday and Sunday to Cedar Point. It was exclusive access to their top coasters, and you spent the night inside Cedar Point. I would pay good money to have a camp out on Main Street, USA.
I was
But I
just
digress.
thinking that.
It was the coolest experience. We drove up early on Saturday and were able to be leisure about the park all day. We didn't have to wait for any of the top coasters since we knew we would get unlimited rides on them with no wait later. At park close, we went to the car, got our camping gear, and were sent to Frontierland to put our tent up in the middle of the track for the antique cars. After I'm done with this, please explain what on earth Frontierland is, because
Yeah.
Frontierland's in Magic Kingdom.
For sure.
We set up and then got to ride the Maverick until 1 a.m. Then the next morning, we woke up early and got to ride Millennium Force and Valraven?
Valraven,
Is that what it's
correct.
called?
Yeah.
Valraven until park open. It was the best experience, and we hope to do it again this year. Love the podcast. You know, Meg, Katie, we love you guys, and we love Swish and Flick. And me and Sarah were talking all night. Well, this is recorded early in the week, so me and Sarah were talking earlier this week. We're doing it. We're getting Universal passes. I think the weekend after we come back from Chicago.
That is huge news. Huge news.
I know. Huge news. Dom does not believe it's going to happen until it happens.
Yeah, I mean, especially, well, not so much with you, but Sarah was, I mean, back in 2011, way back in the day, if you even, like, spewed Universal out of your mouth, Sarah would, like, it's like she just, it wasn't existent to her. Like, she just, it just wasn't a thing.
It's not Disney World.
Right. So, this is good to hear.
It is good. That emotion for Sarah was she was predisposed to it because of her father. 100% Disney guy, Disney Universal don't mix. But we have broken a little bit of that shell, and I think her dad was really excited to see what they were doing with Harry Potter, and that would be his in. But that's the hook, line, and sinker for Sarah.
I think of it this way.
HHN doesn't get her in there.
Right.
Because HHN gets me in there, and I'm
Right.
already. You call me ridiculous, I'm already ready for.
And
I'm excited.
I got you to go to your first HHN.
You did.
So I get you to do a lot of first. It just
Yeah.
you're the one who continues, and then I'm the one who stops.
Yeah. But then I'm always there. So then when you want to get that spurt of excitement or adventure, I'm there. I'm there to back you up.
Right. I say let's go back to Megan's. I just want to talk about Megan's.
Yeah. Frontierland, these roller coasters. What's the deal? Paint me a picture of Cedar Point.
So Frontierland is a little land inside Cedar Point that is
better not have an island.
No, it's not. Well, Cedar Point kind of is an island.
No, there's no Tom Sawyer Island in there.
Oh no Tom Sawyer Island. It's just a little Frontierland that looks kind of like a frontier theme. It's similar to the one in the Magic Kingdom, but it's not the same one. It's just the same type of theming. That's for one of my favorite rides, maybe my favorite ride in Cedar Point, which is the Maverick. It is a roller coaster that is very fast, very smooth, and it has an inverted drop. So you can't see what I'm doing with my hand if you're listening, but it goes in like that and then back out. So it's inverted. And
that would turn my stomach.
No, but it's so quick and it's so smooth. I rode that ride a few Octobers ago at nighttime, and it is a totally different experience than it is during the day.
I have a question. Are there lots of lights on it?
No.
Certain roller coasters, I don't know if it's a height thing or a design thing, have lots of lights like every, say, 20 feet on the track. And why I asked that is Sarah and I were at Dave & Buster's earlier today celebrating our friend's birthday, and we were driving back home on I-4, and I could see SeaWorld, and their two of their main roller coasters you can see from I-4 at night are lit up with big yellow lights every 20 feet. And I think
maybe
that would almost be disorienting.
Well, I think maybe because people can see it and they want people to see the rides from the freeway. Yeah,
I was thinking maybe because the height.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Because I haven't rid the Maverick in a while, because when I just went to Hollow Weekends this past October, it was closed. It broke down when we were there, so we weren't able to ride on. I was disappointed, but a lot of the rides that she mentioned, we got to do the Millennium.
I tell you that would never happen in Disney.
That it does. It does happen there too.
Splash Mountain's down right now.
Well, there's your point proven. Yeah, so the Millennium's a great ride. Valraven was the first ride we went on this October, and that was kind of scary because go up the hill, and then you stop at the very top of the hill and you hang over for a couple seconds, and then you drop down. Uh, that was very, very exciting.
I
So
think I've seen a video of that before.
it's a
Like
fairly new ride.
they hold you like 45 degrees over the drop. Like you can
Yeah,
look down the drop when
right,
they stop you, right?
right, yeah.
Oh
There's probably
man,
rides
that
similar
would
to it.
the whole time I'd be thinking this safety bar is gonna release and I'm gonna drop.
Yeah.
That's what I think of. Like we went on Mako. We went to SeaWorld a couple of weeks ago. We went on Mako like 3 times because it was a Sunday morning. It was cooler. Like it was empty.
Sunday
We
morning
got there
rain was
right at
falling.
yeah.
Yeah. Sunday morning rain is falling.
And
Baby,
there
you're
was not a person.
all
Oh,
I
oh.
need.
I might have to like cut that, copy it, replay with some auto tune to it. We'll get you a viral
Baby, my
video.
voice don't need no auto tune.
Well, there was nobody in the park because we went there park open and we rode Mako like 3 times and it is awesome. And one of the times we rode front row, and I gotta tell you, it was scary. It's got like that chest, the single bar that holds you in by your chest, like over your lap. For anybody who's been to see Six Flags Great America, it's kind of like Raging Bull. Front row's scary because there's not. It looks like that one bar is holding you in, and you're like, this is not enough,
Right.
and you're about to drop 200 feet or whatever it is, because it is as they advertise the biggest, tallest, fastest, longest roller coaster in Florida or Central Florida.
Uh-huh.
That kind of stuff messes me up.
Right.
But we bring up, this is a perfect segue to begin our episode here of Park Hopper Podcast, because this Turnstile Testimonial references special events where you get access to rides before or early or evening access to a theme park's rides with very limited amount, and that's what we're going to talk about. In mostly about Disney's extra magic hours, but we're going to touch base on some special events, kind of like how they've got the coaster camp out there at Cedar Point. I know they've got early access hours at the Universal resorts for hotel guests. And now they've got a newer thing they've been doing for about a year now at Disney World, where it's called Disney After Hours, and it's a paid ticket. But Dom, why don't you let us know what extra magic hours are at Disney World?
So extra. I can't talk today. I'm having a really hard time.
It's late. It's
It
late.
is late.
Let's just put it out there, because before Dom burns me, let's just get it out in the open. It's about 10 to midnight right now.
It is.
And we're just recording this, but we need to. Sometimes, life gets in the way. Dom's birthday was this past week.
It was.
I celebrated our
Thank
friend's
you for the birthday
birthday
wishes.
tonight.
I saw a couple.
Saw that?
I saw the tribute on your guys' Instagram story, and I texted Sarah and I said it did. I'm not a man that cries. I try to avoid crying, but I did shed a tear at my desk. It brought me way back. To our little trick.
What, it brought you back to the 3-man pyramid where you jump on my back, I get all secure holding you, and then Sarah runs up and jumps on your back? Or is it the other way? Does Sarah jump on my back and you jump on hers?
I'm not sure. But I
think you jump on mine and then she jumps on yours.
Right.
But we've done it at a couple different milestones. I think I'm gonna keep pushing this number. I mean, it's been a 7-year number, but I think I've been now connected to 3 times now when Dominic Ivko has shed a tear.
3 times.
You know what 3 I'm talking about? 3 times. First time, the very last time we were in Magic Kingdom of our college program.
Yes.
2012.
Yeah.
We stayed all the way till the Kiss Goodnight. Before that was a cool thing to do on Instagram.
That is true.
Then at my wedding, when we were at some point there was emotional periods there.
Well,
and then
there was no waterworks, but I did get choked up.
There might have been a single tear.
Yeah.
There might have been. And then at your birthday this year, but I have no connection to that other than I was in the photos. That was all Sarah. I was at work. All of a sudden I saw the Instagram story blasting away with all these photos.
Right. And
that was a good montage. I enjoyed
appreciate the people that did reach out and say happy birthday to me.
Yeah, we got a couple out there. Someone, I believe, one of the people who watch our YouTube, Gina, typed out a whole happy birthday song.
I did not see that.
It was just like 2 hours ago, I believe.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find this. Did you explain what
No, we didn't get to it because we talked about how I can't talk today.
Yeah, Gina says, "Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, and enjoy your tea."
Oh, very nice. And I actually
Yeah.
did have some tea today. I had some chai tea.
You,
Yeah,
ooh,
chai tea, a
fancy man.
little milk, a little sugar.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm a plain guy. I don't like anything in my tea.
Have you had chai tea?
Yeah, I've had chai tea.
Yes.
Chai tea would probably be the only one that I would want something in it because it's got such a like a flavor palette there that you would need those other
Right.
things.
So, extra magic hours. Extra magic hours is something that you get if, and I'm sure most people that are listening to this that are Disney fans already know this, but it's something that you get as a privilege if you stay on site on Disney property. So that for the most part, it's either you get into a select park an hour early before the park opens, or 3 hours after the park closes. Right? Usually 3 hours. So
Yeah. Well, the before open is always an hour.
right.
The after close is anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, depending on what season you're in.
Okay.
But it's usually three
Yeah,
hours.
that's what I thought. I thought it's usually been three. So it varies to what I mean, each day it's a different park and so that's kind of what that is and that's a huge benefit. Well, I know we're gonna get talking about that, so we might as well just get into talking about it. Would you rather start with the negatives or the positives?
Let's go. I mean, it's to me, all the negatives and positives are kind of like a matter of opinion.
Okay, so we can mix and match.
Let's just mix and match because I might think something's awesome, and you might think, or you might think it's awesome. I'm gonna be like, well, hold on, you have no idea what you're talking about. You live in Canada.
Right. Fake news.
Not fake news.
Uh,
You told me when I met you, I have a cool license. It's got my passport on it because I actually live in a different country. My dad crosses the border every day to go to work.
No, that's not true. And I never said that. And you're making up lies.
All right, all right. Let's move on. Let's get past this.
So I'll start with the
Let
positive
our
on my
let our
part.
audience let's just listen to how Dom talks. Let us listen to his dialect. You'll hear the Canadian A's in there. You choose for yourself.
My first positive of extra magic hours is wait times for the rides tend to go down. So that means you get to go on rides much quicker than you usually would during normal park hours. Peter, what do you say about that?
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. There is now. I don't believe in this, but there are people who believe that during certain times of the year, the late magic hours or even early has a tendency to attract much more guests to that said park because they only do one park a day. Sometimes they'll do two, but they'll never do the same. So one, say, Animal Kingdom might do early magic and Hollywood Studios might do late magic in the same day, but you would never do early and late in the same day. So there are some people who believe that say if Magic Kingdom's doing late magic hours, and you're going on vacation, and you're gonna a one park kind of person, you're gonna go to Magic Kingdom the day that there's late magic hours. So some people believe it draws crowds and actually makes it counterproductive. I don't believe that. I've utilized magic extra magic hours numerous times in my life, different seasons and everything, and I always find them to be beneficial.
Well, even if what you're saying people truly do believe, still the wait times tend to be less. They do. So
They do.
whether you think that to be true, what you just explained, which it might be so at times, for the most part, it still is less.
Now I'm gonna throw out a cool technical change that's happened if you haven't been to Disney in the past, say, 5 years now. Back in 2011, when we worked here, you actually just had a magic or a key to the world, which was your room key, your credit card, your ticket into the park. This was pre-magic bans, and I thought this was a nasty system because how they did it early magic and late magic is you literally just flashed your card,
Mm-hmm.
held your card up, and the cast member
Right.
made sure you had a card. And I remember specifically how I thought how inefficient this was at Epcot. I went to me and Sarah when we went on vacation before the college program. We went to Epcot Early Magic, and we're in a crowd of maybe 200 guests at the gate waiting to get let in the park because got to go to rope drop.
Right.
Cast members, there's maybe like three across the front of this crowd of 200 to 300 guests, and they say, please hold up your tickets. 300 guests just hold up plastic pieces of card in their hand, and they let everybody in.
Right. Well, back in the day too. I mean, this is kind of a little off topic, but with just showing the cards, a lot of things are different where you could get away with things that you can't so much get away with now, and that's being the fast pass system. You could say with when the paper fast pass, you could say, hey, you know, I lost my fast pass, and they'll just let you right in. Can't do that now. So Disney, I think, caught on to a lot of these tricks that people are doing, aka us being one of those people, doing
Yeah,
those. And
I'm at least 30% of the reason why magic bands are in existence.
right. So I think a lot of that reason is because of stuff like that.
I agree. I agree. But now what the system is with the magic bands, they don't ask you at if you so say for late extra magic hours, you're in the park enjoying your day, then 9 p.m. park closes, fireworks blast off, it's a great time. 9:01 p.m. comes in, you want to go into say Seven Dwarfs Mine Ride. There's a customer there with an iPhone, iPod Touch looking thing, and they scan your magic band to make sure you have a valid reservation that's currently checked in on that magic band before they allow you in the line.
Right.
So you can still walk around the park if you enjoy it. This is me and Sarah do this quite frequently because the parks are closing earlier now during this time of the year. But if there's late magic hours till 11 or 12, we'll go to say Magic Kingdom, enjoy fireworks a ride or two, and then we'll just walk around the park because they don't check you as you're moseying around. They check you when you're going on the ride.
On the rides.
On the rides. So you could walk around and enjoy the atmosphere, probably even get a couple quick services or go shopping on Main Street. But to go on an attraction, they'll check your magic band now.
That's the only time you'll know is if you're staying at a hotel or not.
Yes. And then I haven't been to early magic hours since the magic band has been introduced, but I believe that they would just do that at the Turnstile. You wouldn't be allowed in if you weren't
right
on a reservation.
Right.
But have you done both?
I have. It's been for the night for sure, because I'm more of a night.
But for early,
I'm not an early person. That was kind of going back to my negative about extra magic hours is that it's not that I'm not a morning person, but when you think of a park, especially with you and Sarah, you guys will literally go from the second that park opens all the way till that park closes. I'm someone that maybe this is just me sounding really spoiled, which I'm sure it probably is. I've been to Disney so much that, going from open to close, every single day, I can't do it anymore. It's not that I don't love it. I just I need a break and I need to change the scenery. So whether that's, going to Magic Kingdom for a few hours, going to downtown Disney to grab lunch and then going back, that's kind of more my speed. So having to get up that early to go to the park to, catch everything, I don't necessarily like that because for me, now I feel like I'm behind on things because everyone got a head start ahead of me,
Well, guess what? You know what I say to that?
What?
Thank you.
Thank you, why?
Because while you're sleeping in All-Star Music's comfy bed, I'm over there rocking the Three Mountains of Magic Kingdom at 7 a.m. 7:05, it takes me less than 5 minutes to get to Splash Mountain. Boom. 13 and a half minutes later, I'm walking on Big Thunder. Boom. 6 minutes later, I'm in front of Space Mountain walking on. Now it's been 30 minutes. It's 7:30. I've done Three Mountains of Magic Kingdom.
Right.
And you are getting yourself some beauty rest. But that's like you said, that's where even though that early magic hour is only an hour, a lot of guests, I would love to have access to the databases to see the numbers. I would put good money on it that not as many, in order of maybe 50% of the guests that go to late magic, cut that in half, and that might be the number that go to early magic.
Right.
Because it's only an hour and it's early. They might plan their day that they're going to go to early magic, but then they end up dragging their feet getting in or don't realize they have to give X amount of time to the buses or the boats, and then they miss it. But if you can be Johnny in the spot, like you said, Sarah and I would be at Rope Drop, we would be at Rope Drop.
Right.
We booked our resort for when our family comes down in the end of July. We're staying at Old Key West again, and you're darn right that we're probably going to be at that Rope Drop.
Right, and for me
during those early magic. But that's like I said, like there's different styles of park days, and I don't do that all the time now that we live here, but during a special time like that vacation I might. But that's just different. Like I got all the respect in the world for parking it up like you do, or some people just like to go to different parks. I'm not a big park hopper fan, but many people I know and love are.
I'm a park hopper. That's why this is called the Park Hopper Podcast, right?
Because
Like
we're
what I
going
did
to
there.
different theme
Theme
parks.
parks. Yeah, I like to go
Right.
from I like to go to multiple theme parks in one day, Universal to Disney. It's who I am. But like you said, it's like I was blessed enough to go so many times, and working with the Disney company that I don't necessarily have to be there right when that park opens. But for sure, if say I didn't get those opportunities and I went to Disney for the first time and I don't know if I would ever go back again and that was just my one time vacation for my lifetime, for sure I'd be there for 8 a.m. when that park opens if I'm staying at a Disney resort. 100%. And like I said, this probably sounds very bratty of me and very spoiled, but it's just for the amount of times that I've gone, the early magic hours don't appeal to me.
Makes complete sense. Now, something to point out because the biggest thing, and this is one of the biggest reasons why I also want to do this podcast and why I like to share facts in our vlog. I hate to know or hear, and goes back to the college program. I hated when I talked to guests. They were on their 6th day of their 7-day trip. They're getting some lunch, and I say, "What kind of fast passes did you get today?" And they go, "Oh, we didn't want to pay for that."
Yeah.
Huh? Well, fast passes are free. I severely it disturbs me when families just don't know the things that they should and that are so beneficial. And this is not as intense as that, but I truly think that if a family's gonna utilize extra magic hours, you need to be really smart about it. Kind of like how Megan referenced in her Turnstile Testimonial, she knew during the day she didn't need to waste time waiting in line for those top coasters that she was going to gain access to at night.
Right.
So if you know you're going to get that at 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. at night, extra magic hours, and you're thinking, oh, I can probably get on Splash Mountain and Seven Dwarfs Mine, don't spend 5 hours, 4 hours during the day waiting to go on those earlier just because you might want to go on them twice.
Right.
Try to utilize that time, do a character meet and greet, soak up some of the magic, go around on the Liberty Bell, like do other things while you are, and then while you're in extra magic hours, don't use extra magic hours to eat food or go shopping. Use that extra magic hours for what the benefit is. You have a fraction of the amount of guests there. Go on some of those rides.
And
Definitely take that consideration throughout the whole day.
And you just brought up a great point, Peter, that I was going to mention. And of course, it goes back to food with me because that's all my life is about is food. But extra magic hours is a perfect opportunity, whether that's the morning hours or the late hours, to, eat. So, say you go to the late magic hours during the time that the park's open to every single guest. I think that's a good opportunity to say, not have to go to a quick service meal, but take time with your family to go have a sit down dinner at Be Our Guest. So well, the park's busy right now. There's a lot of people in the park. Rather than wait in a long line, we can go sit down and have a nice hour and a half, 2 hour meal at a nice sit down restaurant. And then once we're done with dinner and everyone has to clear out, that's then when we can go and do the things that we're busy during normal hours. And same with, the morning. Get breakfast, go do a couple rides. Once the park opens, that's a perfect opportunity for you and your family to go do breakfast. Kind of gets you ahead of the game.
It really does. It really does. So it's really not just choosing to go to extra magic hours, but to also use them right, because you can definitely use them wrong.
Right.
Now, the next special event or special ticket that Disney just recently started offering, neither of us have actually tried, but through some research, through some videos, and through some reading up on it and kind of personal experience, and I'll explain why. They have this thing called Disney After Dark or Disney After Hours, and what it is, it's a $90, I think 89 plus tax, dollar ticket per person. And what this is a severely reduced occupancy of the park. It's at 9 p.m. Magic Kingdom closes, and for 3 hours until midnight, you and a very small portion. They haven't officially announced that number of tickets, but the rumors on the internet circulating are anywhere from 3 to 5,000 guests are only allowed in, which may seem like a lot, but when you're talking about a park that has a 65,000 um, peak, what's the limit? The
Right.
capacity has a capacity of 65,000 guests, that they will accept guests there until that amount, then close the gates, like say on New Year's Eve. That is insane. And I have heard stories that it sounds outrageous, $90 per person. There's amazing things. Two main things. You get to go on all these rides with almost near to no wait. Like we're talking a 5 minute wait for Seven Dwarfs Mine Ride. I've read online. 10 minutes Seven Dwarfs Mine Rides. That's a 2.5, 3 hour wait during peak season, during the day. Now the other part, and this is why it connects to me, it's very reminiscent to Moonlight Magic, the DVC special event. It's unlimited food. So they've got special food there, hot dogs, ice cream, and whatnot, treats and beverages that are unlimited from 9 to 12. So now you've got unlimited food. You've got severely reduced wait times. I could see in certain situations, I wouldn't do it because I live here, and I don't think you would either, Dom, because like you just stated about the being lucky enough and blessed enough to go to Disney World as many times as you have, for either of us to pay that $90 a person note. But I definitely see the good and value in that if you use it right.
I think personally, I think everything about the event is great. I mean, yeah, it's cool. You get, less people, 3,000 people in the park, all you can eat, less wait times. But honestly, this is the way I look at it, Peter. Disneyland and Disney World are very different. Disneyland, most of the people that go to that park are locals. Disney World, majority of the people that go to Disney World are from out of town, right? So most of those people are buying multiple day ticket packages, whether that's single day ticket or single park or park hopper. That's what they're doing. So the person that would go to this event most likely has already bought in that $100 plus ticket to the park that day, right? So now on top of that, not everybody, but I would say majority of the people. So on top of that, they now have to spend another $90 just to kick a ton of people out of the park and get a little extra food. What I think that is, and don't get me wrong, I love Disney. I just think that's a huge money grabber, in my opinion, because Disney is making probably a ton of profit off of that event because they're already getting the parks packed during the day, and now they're saying, hey, where can we get people to just throw their money at us? How about we just kick a lot of people out of the park and have them stay an extra 3 hours? That's the way I look at it. I think everything the event offers is great besides the price portion. If you're going to charge people $90 to stay in the park for 3 hours extra just to get extra food and stay in the park later and have less wait times, I think you need to have it a 5 hour event, 6 hour event. Go into the middle of the night. Really make it something that, because I just don't think that's worth your money when you're already probably spending $100 a day to be in the park before they kick everyone out for this event.
Now, I agree with everything you said. You can buy just that ticket.
No, and that's what I said. Some people might, but my point was most of the people that come to Disney World are from out of town. So most
Yeah, so
likely
they're already going to have those
they already
tickets.
have those ticket packages. So I would say probably 90% of the people that go to that event already have a ticket bought for that day because they had to buy the ticket package for their family. That's kind of my point. So yeah, someone can
Mhm.
buy that ticket solely for that event and not go to the park during the day. So in that case, okay, if that's what they did, I don't think 3 hours is enough for $90. I think it should be around 5 to 6 hours. You know,
Definitely,
do
yeah,
you get what I'm saying though?
definitely.
Most people probably
Yeah,
already
yeah,
bought tickets for that day.
yeah. I 100% agree. I'm gonna be honest. Until I did my research earlier yesterday and today, I was in 100% agreement with you.
You were, or you
Um,
weren't.
I was in agreement with you. Like I 100% was like, why would anybody do this? This is ridiculous. $30, you're paying $30 an hour, to do this, and how much can you actually do in 3 hours?
Right.
Like, are the lines that short? Like, um, but then I started doing research. I saw a lot of testimonials online, reviews, and there were a lot of people out there, more than I thought, that were coming out and saying, you know what, this sounds a little crazy, but it was worth it. We and some people saying that they went on more rides and ate more food in those 3 hours than an entire normal day at the park.
Right.
Now that's like it's hard to look at that through a proper filter because you know you and I are more susceptible to saying that's crazy because we're also going through our biases of being able to go to the park more leisurely and more often. But then say take a family that only comes during July week or spring break week, and they're only used to through whatever their means of their jobs or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the story is, they might only know peak season high capacity Magic Kingdom, 3 hour waits for Seven Dwarfs, 2.5 hour for Space Mountain, and there was never a way around it. Um, they could never get the fast passes around it to work. So I see where some people what I think is if the actual number is say 3,000 or even 5,000, they only do these Disney After Hours events a handful of times a year. I think that number is small enough, and the price is it's high, but there's a lot of money in this world. I think that number of attendance is small enough that Disney's going to keep doing it.
Right. And like I
Like
said,
they've already announced 2018 dates. They did it all throughout 2017, so they would have not brought it into 18 if it wasn't lucrative for them, and the guests wouldn't have been buying it if it wasn't beneficial for them. So
right.
I think it's if you can do that, if you can swing that for your family of say three, four, five, or six, and you want to pay that $90 each, have an extra $600 note. More power to you. I really hope that those people get to really utilize the park like they advertise, and if they do, if I got to do a whole Magic Kingdom in 3 hours and got unlimited Mickey Premium bars, I might be walking out a satisfied man. But I wouldn't be able to know until I actually did it.
I think you can do everything you just mentioned. I think you can eat a ton. I think you can do a lot of the majority of the rides in that short of time. I really do think you can. But I still think $90 is a little too high of a price. If it was $50, I would say 100%. I just think $90 is a lot because, like I mentioned before, most of the people probably already had that $100 plus ticket bought for that park that day on top of an extra $90 just to stay an extra 3 hours for all you can eat in shorter wait times and less people. I think all that stuff is nice. That's not what I'm saying. I just think $90 is too much for that.
I agree. I have two digressions. One is really quick and funny, but the other one is a newer update that has to do with just additional costs for benefit that has been kind of controversial lately in the Disney parks world. But the first thing is I just opened the drawer at my desk, and this is what happens when you live in Disney World and you go there 7 days a week, and you won't see it on the podcast, but I'll describe it. I opened up my drawer and I just found this Epcot sticker for to become a junior Jaminator. You know
Ooh,
the three janitors that come out in Epcot and Future World
I do.
on trash cans
Oh,
and they start like playing drums on them. That's what happens when you live the Brookhart Project life. You just find weird stuff like that all the time. Now the other thing I want to bring up, Dom, have you heard about this whole Disney starting to sell extra fast passes?
I believe I have. Yes. And
I'm trying to pull up the article now to get the hard facts for everybody listening.
and before you even read the article or even read a snippet of it, in my mind directly, what it goes to me is Disney just grabbing more money from people for 100% profit.
Let me see. I know there was some. I know it was a trial. Like it's going through a trial run. Not even everybody's invited, but there's nuances to it. Like you're only allowed to do it at certain resorts right now. on club level, which is insane to me because as you bring up the fact that you think it's money going straight 100% profit, not only are these people paying an exorbitant amount of money for extra fast passes, but they're already paying for club lounge level, which I agree with. Like if you want a special perk, a special splurge on a vacation, club lounge is an amazing thing to
Yeah.
do. The hotel I worked in and the club lounges I've seen in other hotels and experienced, I think club lounge,
Right.
maybe not even staying on that level, but more important is the access to the lounge
They're like a
is
little
amazing. It's a
restaurant
great way.
almost.
Yeah, it's a great way to start and end your day. To have a cup of coffee, fresh cup, usually lattes. Usually they're nicer
Right.
coffees, nice breakfast. Stop there in the afternoon maybe for just a couple snacks and a fresh bottle of water, maybe some fresh pressed juice, and then at night for some dessert. Oh, it's great. But let's see this. So, yes, Walt Disney World has confirmed guests staying in rooms at select Walt Disney World resorts are eligible for Disney signature services. So $50 plus tax per guest per day. They haven't officially named it, but this is what you get for $50 per guest per day. 3 additional Fast Pass Plus selections per day. The ability to reserve these 3 additional Fast Passes in more than one park when a valid park hopper option is also purchased. Booking window up to 90 days in advance with the resort. And then preferred viewing location of nighttime spectaculars, 1 per day, including Happily Ever After, Illuminations, Phantasmic, and Rivers of Light.
I
I knew there were some things I was forgetting on there, and it's the nighttime spectacular.
I wish that they would just go back to the paper fast passes. I
They will
really,
never
really do.
because of us.
It's never gonna happen. But like I said, I think all this is just, in my opinion, a money grabber. What can we do to get more money from people? And I know it's a business and they want to make money. I get it. But it's so blatantly obvious. And I can see you just sitting there with a blank face.
No, I'm reading the. I'm
Oh,
looking at the
okay.
article. No, I'm surprised at the cost, and it's strange. I don't know. I'm by no means an economist. I think that's the right word. But I took one econ class in my life, and I really absorbed like a sponge the idea of supply and demand, and I really think that this $50 plus tax per day per guest, of course, it's going straight into their pocket. Um, but what I think it's doing is it's them trying to right lately. There's been a lot of feedback about guests not being able to get fast passes, flight of passage.
Right.
Um, there's been a lot of emails, a lot of guest relations complaints, and I think what this was Disney doing is out of my character, doing a poor job trying to band-aid that.
Yeah.
I think this was their idea to offer a service that gives people more fast passes, and I think the note on it for $50 is more about crowd control than the money. Obviously, it's about the money, but I think that they chose $50 per person per day because it's gonna stop. That's too expensive for 80% of the families who are already spending $10,000 that they've saved up for years to go. They're not gonna drop another $6,600
Right.
just to get through more fast passes. What that was a crowd control. It's to let's try to get guests happy and offer the service, but we can't have everybody buying into it because then we'd be out of fast passes.
Right.
So let's tack a expensive, hefty rate on it.
Right. And you're not forced, I guess you're not forced to purchase it. So you don't, they're not saying you have to buy
You
it.
don't have to, no. And I think also like the fact that you get a special seating for these nighttime events. I think that's a gimmick, just trying to make the package seem more than just a money grabbing thing because they've tried these fast passes at certain locations like the Happily Ever After Fast Pass. They've tried in different capacities. Remember they tried it for Wishes when we did that seasonal summer.
Right.
They did it for like 3 weeks and it was a flop back then. And Illuminations, you don't really need a fast pass for Illuminations.
No.
They already have the dessert party in the front of the lagoon. anywhere around that park, you can walk up to 20, 30 minutes um, before illumination starts, and you're going to have a decent spot. Rivers of Light, I think that would be important. I've had bitter taste in my mouth about Rivers of Light. I've seen it 3 times from different spots, and location affected that show greatly to me. But fireworks at Magic Kingdom has during peak season is crazy, so that could be beneficial, but I don't think it's a necessity. Illuminations definitely don't. Phantasmic definitely don't. There's not a bad seat in that band shell, and Rivers of Light I think you would need it, but there's a lot of flack on the internet about people being worried about rich people just buying up the rest of the fast passes, and I don't think the number's going to be big enough. And Disney wouldn't give away all those fast passes. Right. They have a certain allotted amount for everybody, even for day of locals and day of purchases. They have take fast passes that don't become eligible until 9 a.m. the day the park opens.
Right. So, yeah, I guess like kind of saying that you're not forced to buy it. Disney's not dumb. They know what they're doing. So we'll see what happens. It's something that I not necessarily for. I'm an old schooler. I want paper fast passes and just go up, stick your ticket in to the machine and get a fast pass out, and not have to deal with all this stuff, because I feel like a lot of this stuff is coming about once they changed it from paper fast passes to My Magic Plus. So that's just me.
Well, let's confess. Let's talk about what we would actually do. We would get to the park at 2 or 3 p.m. I would take everybody's cards, go get a fast pass. It would be from, say, 4 to 5. I'd throw them in my pocket. I'd go walk over to another attraction, just start talking to the cast member at the fast pass kiosk until they either were nice enough to give me a magical moment and give me fast passes for that said ride, or they got so annoyed of me, they were like, when are you able to get your next fast pass? I'm like, 20 minutes from now. And they'd be like, here, just take these, and then give me a fast pass, and then I'd wait another hour and go get more. And we would never use them. We would go watch parades, go get food, go on like Carousel Progress and People Mover, those things you don't need fast passes for. And then like 7:30 would come around, and boom, 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 we would drop 5 fast passes in 1 hour.
Or you do the classic go up to Space Mountain with 5 people, but one paper Space Mountain fast pass. Say, hey,
I dropped
we dropped our 4 other fast passes. Can we get in? And they go, yeah, come on in, no worries. Can't do that now.
If this is the 3rd episode of Park Hopper Podcast, and we had about 300 downloads, and we really appreciate every single download, but we fully understand if you never listen to our podcast again.
Why?
We are the reason why FastPass Plus is now implemented.
A lot of people
That's the whole reason.
A lot of people
That's the whole reason. A lot of people, I like it. No, I definitely miss it was like, I felt like now, it's always like the golden ages. I felt like it was the Wild West.
Right.
I had my fanny pack. I had everybody's cards in my closest zipper pocket to my chest. Like, no one's getting near these cards. And then by the end of the day, I'd have a half-inch stack of fast passes. They were like gold. And we would just drop them. And it was like robbing the bank.
Right. Well, no, I don't know.
I miss it. But I know that it can't continue. Because I'd be so mad at myself. If I saw some punk 19-year-old college program kids doing this, I'd be so mad.
With bad haircuts.
Spending all the money on all the cool stuff in the parks, and just eating nachos from Walmart for 6 months straight.
Right. Right.
Those are the good old days. Those are the glory days, I guess.
Yeah. We'll never get those days back. Gosh, we sound like our parents.
Hey, but we wouldn't be doing this podcast now if it wasn't
right.
for it. I think that's all I have on the whole. Little throw out there. Neither of us have done it, but for any Universal guests, and I meant to get some information from Megan and Katie on this, but either Megan and Katie, if you're listening to this, please leave a comment down below if you have any additional insight. But for Universal Orlando, I'm not sure if it's big in California, but in Florida, if you're staying at one of the Universal resorts, you actually get early access to those theme parks.
Correct.
Included.
Right. So that's exciting stuff. And Peter, that's all I have for today. Is that all you have for today?
Check out our Patreon at Patreon, patreon.com/parkhopper podcast. We're going to have our first uploads of Ride Through Roundhouse and I-4 Rambles
Correct.
sometime next week. And that's all I have.
And you can go follow Peter and Sarah on their journey down in Orlando at the Brookhart Project on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. You can follow me on my journey at Domovic Eats Detroit on Instagram and Domovic on YouTube. And
any Metro Detroit area restaurant owners, hit them up. They will come put a spotlight on your restaurant or food truck.
If they're good.
If they're good.
Good.
If they're not, they'll let the world know.
Right. And so thank you for listening to episode 3 of the Park Hopper podcast. We really enjoy you supporting us and following us along this journey. And until next time, this is the Park Hopper podcast.